To the point, informative, entertaining, and protecting the Second Amendment. Welcome back to Elfster's Rifles and Reloading. And I just wanted to do a quick little video for you guys, especially for those that have the Forster Coax press, or if you're interested in getting the Forster Coax press. In my opinion, a must-have mod, and that is the J.J. Keenan Forster Coax travel limiting device that he sells on eBay for $35 shipped. And like I said, in my opinion, it's a must-have mod, and it really cuts that stroke in half. Now, for some of you that own the Coax press, obviously this is going to be rather obvious, but for those that don't own the Coax press, or you're interested in purchasing this particular press, how the shell plate works is these S-jaws on the shell plate itself, you can see they're in an open state right now, and as I run that press handle, it closes. So I put in a piece of brass, and as I run that handle, you can see those S-jaws close on that piece of brass. At the bottom of the stroke, it opens back up so I can take the piece of brass out. And that's where this press really shines. It's free float nature, you know, so that that piece of brass can get in line with your die. And that's why this press is awesome, with its free float nature on the shell plate itself, the free float nature on the die. You have very little to no run out with this particular press, and that's why precision shooters prefer this actual press, because of this free float nature. But you can obviously see when you run this press handle that, let me see if I can zoom out here for you guys, that you have to run this a full damn near 180 degrees of swing on the press handle itself. And like I said, if you're not familiar with this press and you're about to purchase this, you can actually adjust the amount of opening on the S-jaws here. So you can adjust this all the way out and adjust it back in. Obviously you want this somewhere right about there so that the jaws are completely open, so you can get your piece of brass in there, and then when you start running the handle, it closes in on that brass so you can't pull it out. But like I said, you have to deal with this all the time. Now, to help eliminate all of this, you can put in Keenan's limiter here. And what that does is, in essence, just increases the length of your pin. And I can insert this on here, and once you get this adjusted, I'm going to show you how to adjust that here in a little bit. Now, rather than doing 180 degrees all the time, you're talking all the time, you're talking all the time, you're talking roughly only about 90. And now I can still put in my piece of brass, and I'm only cycling that press handle roughly about 90 degrees. And this is still adjustable. You can still adjust this. I can bring this down and I can adjust this in so it doesn't open the jaws as much, and I can adjust it back out so that the jaws open all the way open. So it's really no different in regards to using the factory pin or the pin on the limiter itself. It just decreases the total amount of opening, and obviously the amount that you have to actually run the press handle itself. Now, after hyping up this limiter, it does have some limitations, and I just need to get that out of the way. Now, obviously you can see that it reduces the opening here, and this is going to be great for pistol cartridges, something like 9mm, 45, pretty much all pistol casings. This is where it's really going to shine. You can also get, you know, some cartridges in here like 6.5 Grendel, 223, but when it comes to something like the 308s, you're going to have a heck of a time getting it in here. And even if I adjust this all the way down, let me make that adjustment. So I'm going to take this off. I'm going to screw this pin all the way down to its lowest possible setting. And once you have this set, you can set it and forget it. You don't have to play around with it again. Even though you adjusted this, it still opens up those S-jaws. So right now, just for pure example's sake, I have a 223 resizing die here. Obviously, the pistol brass is not going to be an issue. Stuff like 6.5 Grendel, 223, got tons of room. But when it comes to something like the 308 parent cartridges, like 308, 243, 6.5 Creedmoor, you could use this for sizing purposes, but if it comes to actually, for example, I know this isn't a 308 sizing die, but you can already see that you're going to have a hell of a time getting a bullet seated into this piece of brass, and it's just not going to happen. So in my opinion, as long as you're cool with resizing for 308 parent cartridges, you're good, not seating bullets. Or if you're cool with 6.5 Grendel or 223, you can use this for sizing and seating bullets. But if you're doing something really big, obviously like 7mm or 338 Lapua, obviously the limiter's gonna have its limits. So let me show you how to quickly adjust this and use it. So just a quick recap for those that don't own this press, you're interested in buying it, and you're thinking about getting this modification. Once again, this black pin, this pointed pin at the bottom, all that does is screw in and out. And if I screw this up, you can see that the S-jaws are opening up. And you don't want to screw this out too far. And this goes for both the limiter and the factory pin. You can screw this out too far and damage the shell plate, so make sure that you don't do this. As a matter of fact, let me zoom in here. And you can see, I screw this out, S-jaws close, screw this back in, and the S-jaws open. And right about there is about where you want it. You don't want it touching the shell plate, but obviously enough to open up the S-jaws so you can easily get in your piece of brass. And that's pretty much all it's all about. Let me zoom back out. So when it comes to putting on the limiter, you just insert it over the pin, and you can see that there's a little bit of a rubber bumper here. I'm going to show that to you here in a little bit and why that's important. But you just lower your ram, and you can see you can adjust this too. Usually I'll bring this down onto my arm, and I can screw this all the way in. So obviously righty-tighty, if I screw it all the way in, it's not going to open the S-jaws. Let me zoom in. So you can see that's not opening up the S-jaws at all. So I can lefty-loosey screw this pin of the limiter out, and you're going to notice these S-jaws open a little bit more. Bring the handle back down, screw this pin back out a little bit more, and you just keep on adjusting this. And once you get a method to your madness down here, it doesn't take long at all. And that's just about perfect. So I can put in my piece of brass, size it, I can easily take it back out. So once I have that set, there's a little knob here that I tighten up, and usually what I do is I just push that right against this rod here. Now there's a rubber bumper here that actually stops the lower part of the press, and that's important. Let me reposition this camera and show you why. Now you can see as I lower the bottom part of the press, you want it so it rides on this rubber bumper. So all that force comes down on that rubber bumper, and that little piece of rubber takes that shock. And you got to make sure that this is adjusted first and then tighten this up, and then to make sure that this lower part of the press rides on that little rubber bumper. And once you have this set, you can set it and forget it. And let me zoom back out. And what you can do is, once you have this set, is you can carefully take off this rubber bumper. And what I would advise doing, once you feel comfortable doing this, is you can just roll this up a little bit, put just a small, maybe you screw this out, and you can see I got a little bit of a black mark here. Let me zoom in here. And what I would probably do is screw this out, put the smallest amount of blue Loctite on it, and then screw that back down to where that black line is back where it is. Roll this back down and insert it. And so once you have this set, you can set it and forget it. And it doesn't matter where this is in regards to the factory black pin. It doesn't matter. Once you have this set, you put this on and you tighten this home. It doesn't matter if the black pin is screwed all the way out or screwed all the way in, and I'll show that to you here in a little bit. So regardless if the black pin is screwed all the way out, the limiter will still open the S-jaws. If I take this off and screw it all the way down, this is why you can set it and forget it. It will still open the S-jaws, regardless of that black pin's elevation. So with the limiter, you're good to go in regards to sizing and seating bullets with pretty much all pistol ammunition or casings. For example, 6.5 Grendel or 223, no problems with resizing or seating bullets. But when it comes to something like 308 parent cartridges, 308, 243, 6.5 Creedmoor, especially anything above that, you're pretty much going to be limited to sizing only and not seating bullets. So where this is really going to shine is pistol ammunition and anything roughly 223 and lower. So if you already own the Forster Coax press and you're sick of doing this, or even if you're thinking about buying this press, this might be something to look into. As a matter of fact, check out the description box below. I'll have a link to J.J. Keenan's Forster Coax travel limiting device that he sells on eBay for 35 bucks. And it'll definitely cut that stroke in half. And it's definitely worth it in my opinion. Well, stay tuned. I got some more videos incoming in regards to modifications on the Forster Coax press in regards to these easy access linkages and this UFO LED lighting. It's something you do not want to miss, especially if you're about to make this coax purchase. Well, if you enjoy this video, you enjoy my content, you feel like you learned something, scratch my back and I'll continue to scratch your back with this content by not only subscribe, like, and share, hit that notification bell, become a Patreon. It helps out more than you know, and I will see you guys in the next video.